If I was going to make stuff up about him, I'd start telling people he wears diapers. I would explain that it's a long trial. He drinks a lot of Diet Cokes to stay awake. He's getting up there in years, and it's perfectly normal for a man of Trump's age and carriage to wear absorbent undergarments to stop the leaks. So, I mean, if I was making stuff up, that I would point out that the reason he stands like this and golfs like this and plays tennis like this is because he has a full diaper strapped around.
Kimmel's a loser.
We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
Jim Carrey and Jimmy Kimmel just teamed up to take on Donald and Melania Trump, and it felt like a WWE showdown, only instead of body slams, we got a full-on comedic beatdown. Kimmel was roasting like it was Thanksgiving dinner, and let's just say, if looks could sue, we'd be in the middle of a courtroom drama. What did they say that has MAGA world in a frenzy? Buckle up, because this is brutal, hilarious, and absolutely unmissable. Jimmy Kimmel just served up the roast of a lifetime to Donald and Melania Trump, and honestly, it was long overdue. If Karma had a late-night show, this would be the grand finale. Carrey, a living cartoon with a knack for turning any moment into an absurd masterpiece, went all out, while Kimmel, the king of late-night sarcasm, sliced through Trump's fragile ego like a hot knife through butter. The result? A beautifully brutal takedown that left even Trump's most loyal fans squirming in their red hats.
Donald Trump has pushed us to the point where we can't even agree on the weather. What a stupid time to be alive. But has anyone thought about unplugging America and plugging it back in again? Because
we are parentless, you know, and we are babysat by the television. We're taught how to think by the television. That's the dangerous thing about what's going on right now. There are generations growing up right now who are learning to lie. That lying is okay. That this
kids say fake news.
That you're supposed to hate half the country. You know? And if anything, we've got to get back to a place where we realize that a vote is not who you are. You know, and because you voted Republican, you're not stupid, you're not different, you're not worthless. You know, I could break bread with anybody who voted for Trump. We could find some common ground to love each other.
Jim, of course, Trump is probably furiously typing in all caps right now, pretending not to care while secretly crafting a 3 a.m. rant about woke Hollywood elites and low ratings. The irony is that he seems to care more.
As is tradition, except for 4 years ago when Trump refused to do it, the outgoing first couple welcomed the incoming president and first lady, which was interesting to watch. Trump actually got involved in Melania's outfit for this ceremony. A lot of people are talking about it. He told her he thought it would be super hot if she dressed like a goth Al Capone. And so she did. We found Carmen Sandiego.
Then about actual policies, or basic geography, for that matter. Remember when he thought Belgium was a city? Yeah, we do too. And let's not forget about Melania in all this. While she usually drifts in the background like an AI-generated first lady, she didn't escape unscathed either. Kimmel had a field day with her robotic demeanor, throwing just the right amount of shade to make you wonder if she even wanted to be there at all. Was she rolling her eyes behind those oversized sunglasses? Probably. Was she already plotting her next Be Best campaign, this time aimed at stopping her husband from rage tweeting? One can only hope. The best part? Carrey and Kimmel didn't even need to exaggerate anything. They simply held up a mirror to the absurdity that is Trump's existence and let the jokes write themselves. It's as if nature made him for satire.
Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. Dude, Jimmy Kimmel, I did him a lot. He'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time. All they do is talk bad about
Talking parody. But the joke isn't on us. It's on him. Imagine waking up every morning and realizing that your greatest enemy isn't a foreign superpower, a secret cabal, or even the IRS. It's two late-night comedians armed with jokes sharper than Trump's grasp of basic geography. The irony here is almost poetic. The man who built his brand on being the loudest, thinnest-skinned bully in the room is now melting down over a little comedic payback. It's like watching a pro wrestler suddenly complain that the punches are too real. Trump spent years hurling insults like an unsupervised toddler in a candy store, wild, nonsensical, and with absolutely no regard for reality. And now, Jim Carrey and Jimmy Kimmel are simply handing him back a taste of his own medicine. The difference? They're actually funny. No need for playground-level nicknames or all-caps rage tweets, just sharp, biting humor that exposes the ridiculousness of Trump's entire existence. And the best part? It's not just about Trump. Melania got her fair share of shade, too. Kimmel, with his signature smirk, pointed out what everyone's been thinking for years. Does Melania actually like her husband, or is she just biding her time like a contestant on Survivor Mar-a-Lago edition? 1 minute, she's slapping his hand away. Let's break this down. Here we have someone giving robotic speeches about kindness while standing next to the least kind man on the planet. The contradictions are practically begging to be pointed out. Meanwhile, Jim Carrey brought his signature energy, wild expressions, exaggerated impressions, and just the right amount of mockery to make even Trump's most devoted followers question if their orange emperor really has any clothes. The thing about Carrey is that he doesn't just imitate people. He transforms into them, capturing all their absurdity in a single facial expression. And when it comes to Trump, there's certainly no shortage of absurdity to work with. But the real comedy isn't just what Carrey and Kimmel said, it's how Trump will inevitably react. We all know the routine by now. First, he'll pretend he didn't watch it. Then he'll spend way too long ranting about it. He might even throw in a lawsuit threat, because nothing screams, "I'm not mad," like trying to sue a comedian for making jokes. This isn't just about roasting Trump. It's about reminding everyone that humor is a powerful weapon against nonsense. And if there's one thing Trump has provided in spades, it's nonsense. Carrey didn't just roast Trump. He served him up on a silver platter and then went back for seconds. His satire wasn't just funny. It was a masterclass in exposing hypocrisy. With every exaggerated facial expression and over-the-top impersonation, Carrey reminded us why Trump is less of a former president and more of a late-night comedy goldmine. The comparison to a malfunctioning fax machine wasn't just a joke. It was a perfect metaphor. He's loud, outdated, and no matter how many times you try to move on, he just keeps jamming up the system, spewing out nonsense like an error message that no one can fix. Kimmel, on the other hand, really went for the jugular with surgical precision. His monologue wasn't just about poking fun at Trump. It was about tearing down the fragile house of cards that is his ego. Let's be real. Trump's ego is probably the most delicate thing on the planet.
Melania also went into detail about her favorite moment as First Lady.
People always asking me, what was your favorite memory as First Lady? It was in 2020 when Donald get the China virus and he was airlifted to hospital like sick elephant. Darren and I threw party on that lawn. We danced around giant bonfire and shot fire cookers at Mike Pence. I had Lincoln bedroom all to myself and did not sleep wink. Too many smiling. Sadly, the elephant make it.
Yeah, it's humpy time.
Oh, elephant find me. When is he going to jail?
I'm taking off my spanks.
You know what? There's still a spark between them. That's very sweet.
Forget about nuclear codes. This guy loses his mind over a bad headline. The sheer pettiness of his existence is unmatched. He's the only former president who spends his days rage-posting like a moody teenager whose crush left him on red. What really took this roasting session to the next level was how both comedians focused on the absurdity of Trump's post-presidency life. Most former presidents write books, start charities, or paint mediocre portraits in their spare time. But Trump? He's out here selling gold sneakers and ranting about voter fraud, like a guy who still can't accept that he got fired from the one job he never really wanted in the first place. If incompetence had a brand ambassador, it would definitely be him. Meanwhile, Tony Soprano was in Charleston, South Carolina last night, where he took a moment to brag about his golf game and complain about unflattering photos. Did you see that awful picture of him with his stomach sticking out? He said, "What I'm doing today is putting up a picture of me that actually shows what I look like, hitting a ball, smashing it." Well, in that case, you've got my vote if you can actually hit a ball. And let's not forget about Melania. Kimmel took one look at her public appearances and asked the question we've all been wondering. Does she even remember signing up for this gig? Her whole vibe screams contractual obligation. She's like an actress in a long-running soap opera who stopped caring about the plot 3 seasons ago but keeps showing up just for the paycheck. The way she dodges his hand in public is nothing short of impressive. You'd think, after all these years, Trump would get better at reading body language, but then again, self-awareness has never really been his strong suit. Kimmel and Carrey didn't just take shots at Trump, they turned him into a punchline. It's a full-blown comedy spectacle, and the funniest part? He can't do a thing about it. Sure, he might try to clap back with one of his half-baked, typo-riddled rants on Truth Social, but at the end of the day, nothing he says can change the fact that 2 comedians just roasted him in front of millions. Deep down, he knows it, and that's what really stings. Melania's time as First Lady will be remembered as one long, unbroken sigh. If body language could file for divorce, hers would have done it back in 2017. Every public appearance was like a masterclass in looking utterly uninterested, like a student forced to present a group project but refusing to make eye contact with anyone. Kimmel and Carrey made sure we didn't forget some of the reviews of her book, and let's just say they weren't great. Vanity Fair called Melania Trump's new book truly bad, but what these reviewers don't realize is that it's not just a book. It's also a applause fragrance that smells like Slovenian prenup ink. Her infamous Be Best campaign was perhaps the most unintentionally ironic initiative ever launched. Imagine being married to the most aggressive cyber bully in modern history, and then trying to teach kids about kindness online. It's like launching a fitness program while married to someone who thinks exercise is just walking from the golf cart to the buffet table. The sheer contradiction made it impossible to take seriously, and Kimmel feasted on that irony like Trump at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Carrey, on the other hand, didn't just poke fun at Melania. He portrayed her as the ultimate reluctant co-star in Trump's never-ending political horror show. She's been playing the role of First Lady like a washed-up actor taking a guest spot on a show they couldn't care less about. Bare minimum effort, robotic delivery, and an unshakable look of regret. And let's not forget those viral clips where she expertly dodges Trump's attempts to hold her hand. At this point, it's less about affection and more like watching someone trying to avoid a clingy ex. Have you ever touched a public restroom door handle? Look at what Carrey says. This is sick. This news just broke this morning. Innocent people are being slaughtered, families are shattered, and children's lives are being ruined, all in his name. If the heartless Republican Senate lets this vile mess continue, it could turn the Trump presidency into a catastrophe of epic proportions. He even drew Trump with a swastika, like a massive asteroid hurtling from space, ready to crash down. And then there's Melania. Unlike past First Ladies who embrace their roles with enthusiasm, she always seems bewildered about how she ended up in that position. Her lack of interest was so obvious that even the Christmas decorations in the White House felt eerie. Remember those infamous blood-red Christmas trees? They looked like they were straight out of a horror movie, designed by Tim Burton. Kimmel had a blast with that, pointing out how her attempt at holiday cheer resembled a scene from The Shining. Yet through all this, Melania's greatest talent might just be her ability to vanish when things get messy. While most First Ladies engage in political discussions, Melania has perfected the art of disappearing like a magician's assistant whenever controversy arises. She's like a Wi-Fi signal during a storm, strong when you don't need it, completely absent when chaos strikes. Just this past weekend, Melania resurfaced at Trump's high-dollar fundraiser in Florida, looking absolutely miserable, like she was being held hostage. You have to see this. Everyone is craving change. Rich people want it, poor people want it, and honestly, our country is struggling. We're the laughingstock of the world, but we're going to turn that around quickly. What a wild evening it's been. There's been a lot of chatter about Melania's noticeable absence from the campaign trail, and it seems like there are some pretty specific reasons behind it. She just doesn't want to be there. Her appearance on stage with Kimmel really highlighted that. They didn't just poke fun at her, they brought attention to the ridiculousness of her situation. She went from strutting down runways to standing next to one of the most scandal-ridden presidents in modern history, all while looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. And the kicker? Trump probably thinks she's his biggest fan. The comedy practically writes itself. If there's one thing history has shown us, it's that Trump's reactions to comedians are almost as dramatic as the jokes themselves. He'll claim that late-night TV is part of some deep state conspiracy, as if Kimmel and Carrey are secretly plotting against him in some underground lair. This roasting session is just the latest example of Trump struggling to handle the heat when it's directed at him. He loves the spotlight, until he's not the one calling the shots. For years, he's acted like the ultimate alpha male. But the moment someone with a bit of comedic talent takes a jab, he crumbles faster than one of his failed casinos. At the end of the day, Trump can try to brush this off, but we all know he's watching. He's probably glued to his phone, rage scrolling through Twitter or whatever off-brand platform he's using these days, fuming that Hollywood's top comedians are treating him like the punchline he's always been. And honestly, that's just comedy gold.